everybody. Let's get going right to it on a Thursday. What's going on? Great to see everybody. Let's do it now. And yep, give away that gold membership. You know it. What's going on, everybody? Who was the first one in that said gold? G-O-L-D, because that's how we play on Thursday. Justin King, you win the gold 30 days. You got to contact Miss Stephanie over on the Discord. Get with it. I think we're going to get Mitch Ray in here in a little bit. Kind of a slow day for us down here in Miami. We had a tropical storm blow through. Just rain nonstop for like 36 hours. It was insane. Anyway, so we're all moving slow. I've got some coffee. I hope you guys do too. Great to see everybody. What's going on, Martin? Martin, you have to type in gold, G-O-L-D, because we give away gold memberships on Thursday. So we're here, Tuesday, Thursday, 12 noon. Let's rip into some crypto and other interesting things. Check it out. Bitcoin, remember, just a couple days ago, we were looking for like a check back to 35.5, 36. Went to 35 with a perfect Gartley on the hourly. And guess what? This sets up for another test because that was only a type 1. And we would look for the retest and then we would go. I think that's pretty interesting. We'll get into the altcoins. Let's highlight some more of those because some of these are just, they already want to do a 10x. So great to see everybody today. What's going on, Justin? You did win. Evan, Daniel, APV, Charles. Yeah, I could look at dollar yen in a little bit. Yeah, Michael Berry, I guess he got scared out of his shorts. Guess he did. We'll look at the cues. We'll go to the SPY here. We're hitting big levels. Are we going to continue? Don't know. We'll give away a couple more gold memberships in a little bit, not just right now, but let's get into the whole crypto scene. Something to really take to heart. Okay, it's crazy. It's getting crazier. Impressive. It's almost like the cycle wants to start now, and the cycle wants to fire up 6 months before or 5 months before it happens, which is not. That's not what the cycle normally does. I mean, the cycle will heat up, but we don't go crazy before the halving. We can run, but as they say, you can't hide. Bitcoin here on the hourly for Coinbase feed did give us a great, phenomenal Gartley, just a type 1 reaction, but this is exactly what we should be looking for going forward. Let the market, the market's down strong today again. Big surge up. I expect it to come back. Come back to that 34,934. Retest it on the hourly and then go. We've had a few of those. Some of them we caught just on the recent one. Here's Solana. And Solana traded as low as 52 on this last pullback, and then went to 52 to 67. Well, that's a remarkable move. Now, alternate bat on the hourly. So even though these are skyrocketing, they're still adhering to the harmonic pattern framework. That's what we should be looking at Solana. And when we do run into patterns, hourly, 4 hour, respect it. Expect some volatility. I mean, this is going straight up, no doubt. Solana was in the 20s a month ago. Now you're trying to make a run at 70. Remarkable. Couple more, and then we'll highlight some of those T coins. What's a T coin? I'll get into that today. But take a look at, say, Ethereum. Hovering around 2,000. Okay, just building and building and building. Still not a heck of a lot pattern-wise to go off of, except for these oversold high-level HSI signals. So Ethereum comes up here. Maybe it tries to hold like 1950 and then do a pause before going higher. Remember, Ethereum is playing catch up, and check out what we have here. This crab was just kicked out about 4 days ago. And this could be, at least on the daily, before we get to the 2450 target, maybe we do something like this, which is, this is going to be a phenomenon I will continue to look at as the market tries to go higher. We'll get bearish patterns just as a matter of function of the way things unfold, no doubt. But in the strongest of trends, what do we see? Typically a type 1 pullback, and then you go. APV is asking, if you buy the software for a year, does that include the gold membership? Yeah, that's fine. That's good. You get a year, or you buy it outright and you guys want to come to the gold, check that out. By all means. Here's the deal. Go over to harmonictrader.com. Here's the Black Friday deal. Look, it's 30% off the annual and to purchase. So you guys if you're going to get with it now. It's the only time I do it. And then we're going to it does give you the gold membership and then the crypto webinar on the 6th. Although I might move that up to like the 1st. Let's see. But check that out. That's all available here. And then you can check out all of the different software products at those links. That's where to get with it. If you have any questions, everyone, really the easiest thing is become a basic member and get the trial. So I say get the trial for TradingView, but they're all available. I mean, Thinkorswim, we have trials available for that. We do have, you know what? I need to upgrade. That's a different, really quick. The coupon code for all of these is Black Friday HPC, but there's a different one. I'll update that for Thinkorswim. I forgot to add that. It's a slightly different coupon code. If you have any questions, get on the Discord. And if you want to get with the gold membership so you can and get to that seminar for what we do on crypto, just reach out to me or Miss Stephanie on the Discord. Okay? You guys know how I am about this stuff. All right. So Ethereum, markets in general, making crazy moves, but they're still going to give you pullbacks. They're still going to give you opportunities. Listen, if we get something like that on Ethereum back to 1893, that's probably the next inflection, stair-stepping to go higher. All right. James, contact me. I thought you got in there. If you guys have a problem with anything, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to work it out. All right. A couple of others. So top 5, if you will. How about XRP? Extremely disappointing, right? XRP not moving. Really thought we'd bust the move and get going. Not yet, but we do have some HSI, high-level HSI. Here you go. So we're trying to come out of this. And the other thing we want to look for, standard RSI, come to that 50 and then go. XRP not nearly as moving as like some of these others that I'll get to in a second, but still okay. I don't have any problem with that, but we need to talk about maybe more prominent crypto, like get back to, so here's something, I think I mentioned this before, Fantom. Oh no, I wanted to go to AVAX first. Let me go to Avalanche first. Because Avalanche popped too, and that was something that I posted, tweeted on. Look, is that going to do a Solana? and just rip, go through to the moon right here, right now. You've got some things up here. Just be aware of this. All right. As much as I want to get crypto crazy, if I run into bearish patterns or get HSI bearish dots, T2 designations like that, I'm going to respect it. So Avalanche, right around 23 bucks. Maybe we get into a pause here, and just for right now, you know, you're up there. You've hit some overbought HSI. Standard RSI is trying to move back up. All right, but watch it. You're really close. If that thing rolls over 1 day, 2 days, that could go into a pause real easy. I mean, you're up. You're almost, what, 250%? Almost 300% since the low. Okay. A lot of these are doing runs. Some of others are getting ready to do runs, and we need to watch them. Here's something that we want to watch. Cosmos. So this is, boy, this had so many different things down there, $6, $7. It was a type 2 that we were looking at, 9. My point with this is a whole lot of patterns. This reminds me of Link before Link started being Link. I mean, really Link. So this is fair game anywhere down here at $9. I think that's just another one getting going, waking up, if you will. Be aware of that. A few others. So where'd you go? So Cardano is trying to do something, but like these others, you're hitting some patterns up here. And this is a good example. Back-to-back patterns. Just because everything's going crazy, like I said, I'm not going to ignore the obvious signals or designations. This is why we get the software, because, hey, am I going to buy a T2, bearish T2 retest? That's a bearish pattern. That's the secondary test of this pattern. So you're at a resistance zone. 40 cents is your current resistance at the moment. All right, just be aware that you're going to have to go through some consolidation. I would be looking for things like what we saw on that last retest just a couple days ago. Let me bring up Avalanche, because this was one that we had 4-hour oversold. There we go. All the way back here at 16. Okay, and you had some 5-minute patterns even. You go all the way back here in the Discord. We had a crab pattern down here on the 5-minute, linking up with that 4-hour signal. You know, now you're trying to register overbought at the moment. So patience. We'll get another opportunity like 3 days ago. The same thing. Couple others. Where did it go? Where's Bitcoin Cash? Yeah, this is interesting. Bitcoin Cash for me is still kind of a poster child of potential issues with the Gartley here. And I would think Bitcoin Cash would be one that would be running in sympathy with everything else running, but you're stalled out at 245. I'm watching that pattern. I'm watching this pattern right here. We generated an oversold trigger around 230. Okay. What are we looking for? Fireworks. And we want to see that above 271. So eye on that. Doesn't seem like it's doing much, but others are really taking off. Here you go. The Phantom. I briefly went over this before, but look, beautiful type 1 off the bat. Okay, no confirmation here just yet, but we are certainly running into a targeted zone, 36 cents right now. Wait for that to come back. Like, Again, we've had a few of these 4-hour 1 and 2, 3, 4 since that low. So we're overbought clearly right now. Maybe we just get into a sideways pause and then we go again. So be aware of that. A few more. You know, those swap, all the swap kind of things. Pancake swap, sushi swap, Uniswap. They're in a category themselves, all themselves as well. They did run. We talked about this cake. Why? Because we had, had some patterns down here at 140, and when it started to run, I was, well, there's still other targets up here around 360. That's not a crazy thought here. I don't know if you can go and chase it, but it's another one where wait for the 4-hour. Again, that sell-off from just a few days ago, 2 days ago, and we were looking at that. We're saying, yeah, we could come in here and have maybe the 4-hour trigger and go. Well, it triggered later that day or that evening, and then it just took off. So, it's we're going to get these sharp, short pullbacks, and those are the ones you're going to wait on and then jump it. As I started with Bitcoin, again, come back to this, follow this, it did the same thing. Even on the 4-hour basis here, high-level Gartley, listen, this Gartley potentially could be, and I wanted to talk about it, a launch pad on the retest. So if we come back down one more hit of 34 and change, I would even venture maybe we even kiss the hop level, but not below that. But this retest to this Gartley, if it's at 34.9 or if it's 33.9, it's somewhere in here that could potentially set it off for the rest of the month. Want to be clear about that. That's the 1-2, type 1, type 2. I had something I was going to show you guys. I'll get to that in a little bit. And Bitcoin is still the primary crypto to be basing the activity off of. There's other things, clearly, but we want to be aware of these kind of structures. That if we're in a return phase right now for Bitcoin, but it could potentially set up for the larger type 2 move, be aware of that. That's big stuff. Okay, a couple more. Check out crypto.com. Back from the dead. Was 5, went to 10, now it's 9.9. But this has a nice high level pattern. Come on, where'd you go? Bear with me one second. There you go. So here's another bat pattern, high level after a big initial surge. Listen, I'm looking for this, and this is the model that for pretty much any crypto we'd want to see. Hourly or 4-hour pattern, come back, give you the type 2, and that's back at 8.7, and then that's the launch pad. So be aware that despite the aggressive nature, we're still printing patterns left and right. A few more. Some things that haven't moved yet that I find interesting. Now, I talked about some of these, but look, here's Engine Coin. Total T coin. What's a T coin? Under $1 billion market cap, lost 90+% of its value, has big harmonic patterns looking left. If this is going to be something, if you're going to get off this low here, well, really the 886 at 2680 is not a bad place to be spotting up against this zone. And you're looking for something much larger to take shape. Go to not only 40 but maybe 52.9, and then get out of the hole to where you do something. Start to challenge some static resistance, or hey, go do a type 2 bat pattern at $3.60. I'm not saying that's going to happen. What I'm really saying is this is an example of a pattern of a crypto. You got patterns looking left and hasn't really moved hard yet. Not like some of these others. Places to be strategizing. What else? Yeah, synthetics and FET. You guys know FET. We've been on FET for a while. And there's FET. Oh, look at that, 44. FET goes higher, kids. FET's, I think, like a 52 bag run up to the hop. It's been a lot of gyration, but look, that's a strong price action expansion. You had a couple of triggers, 4-hour triggers. Look, 1, 2. You're checking back now, but you're stair stepping where 34, then 37, 38 here. You had a few different triggers where, and we'll get another one. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, maybe 5 up here. Do something down here, come back down and trigger another one as you continue to go higher. I don't think that's a stretch. And with something like FET, you're really looking for this to do, if we can connect dots, so X, A, B, B's at a 45%, higher low there to C, to where, that's not a crazy thought. $1.07. So, it's going to take time. This stuff makes its way, but we know the deal. And FET had patterns looking left, has patterns currently looking right, but that should at least get us to 52 on this move. Remember, it was 18, 17, something like that. A couple more. Ooh, Filecoin, really? Has that done anything ever? Bearish Gartley, guys. Now, you'll be happy. So you Filecoin people will be happy to know that, yes, we've got a big, deep crab looking left. Basically $4. Every time it gets to $4, you're going to take a shot. You take it there. You're looking for a someday move to target one at 1368. But like a lot of crypto, okay, doing this massive year and a half basing phase, so not surprised. But you do have some things looking left. Sorry, I'm trying to see what this big pattern is. So even that has a big bat pattern. What about the weekly? Well, weekly, you do have this HSI oversold trigger. So all of that is still around the $3 or $4 support zone. You're thinking that that's something that hasn't moved yet. And you can go and ride that once it gets going. It's going to take time, though. One or two others that I've mentioned with big patterns looking left. They're trying to pop. Here's Ethereum Classic. I do like this one. I've always liked this. I've kind of favored this for a while. Your XA level is 20. That's why you're not busting out yet, because you're not out of the zone. The low range was 13 and change, but the T2 was a year ago. Okay, and we just go sideways to base because you're still in a downtrend. Now we're starting to make some progress where can we get out of here and get up to 39.45 or even, target to 53.93. That's not out of the question. I mean, it just is, taking longer, but that is a great pattern looking left. And when I say that, that's exactly what I mean. It's like that. So what other ones we have? What's up, Blair? We did synthetics. I can look at Litecoin. It's another one. Litecoin with You know, some big patterns on the daily at least. Come on back. There you go. So deep crab down here, $61. I think that's something I know I've mentioned before. And then there were even bigger structures. Where were they? Hold on. I thought there was, yeah, 67 area, 65. Another one that hasn't really started to move yet. And then the weekly was some oversold triggers on Litecoin. And I wouldn't guess, I wouldn't really expect that to do anything until you start making real progress off this uptrend line and just crack above some obvious left, some clear hurdles here. I mean, you're not going to do anything till you get above 100, but maybe you're grinding. You're certainly a lot closer to the lows, the projected lows, than having this breakdown. The other thing with Litecoins like this, you know, just get to the right of here. Make progress to the right of that downtrend. The other one is Doge, and Doge, Litecoin, well, not to diss Litecoin, but Doge is something where, again, another basing formation has to get out of its own way. Quite frankly, it really needs to do some things and get some momentum going. And here we've had a lot of patterns back to back. Check this out, and we have patterns right now, bearish, that I still say, squeeze it at 8 and come back to 6.5 or 6 cents. If you're to break out, that'd be something else. So be aware of that. Yeah, last session I did cover a lot of groups. Who said that? Eddie, what's up, Eddie? And some of those were like the AI stuff, like Fetch or AGIX or others. And then you had the gamers, Avalanche and Solana, those kind of networks. You have you had the finance kind of categories. You had Link, and then you had Metaverse, and that's the other one to take a look at. So stuff like Mana, they've done a big move off the lows, but you have big patterns looking left. Things like this bat pattern and Mana, and your measured levels are like 35 cents. So if we have some kind of downdraft, Mana gets to 35. That's probably where you want to be trying to pick it up on the cheap. Sandbox. See, it's down today. Big patterns looking left. Where are these patterns? 42, 36 range, and you're still in there. You're basically at the top end of your support. So these are still valid. And these are opportunities looking left, well, to the right here, but with levels looking left. That's what we want. And then, yes, privacy coins, which have tons of patterns like Zcash. Like these haven't moved. Relative to others, you had a lot of Zcash as patterns. There's a bat pattern now. Maybe that caps it for now. But look at also, these kind of big patterns to the left. So if you're down in here, if it's Zcash or Compound or this, how about this YFI? That's crazy. You're in finance. But it was a 1 and a 2 at 5,000 a coin. Now 13. Didn't that thing go to like 90? Hold on. Yeah, I went to like 90,000 at the top last time. Interesting. I'll keep my eye on that one. Here's the YFII. Yeah. And this is, which one is the Chinese thing and which is the other? Someone can clarify that for me. But here's a pattern, bearish pattern, getting printed. I'm not jumping in front of that. What I would want to see, come down to target 1 and then go. Couple more. This, I don't know what this is, but people have asked me about this Kaspa. Where do you go? Here you go. And so I thought that was huge when it was up at 9. It went to 14. You can't chase that. Sorry, not allowed to. But we could wait for pullbacks like here and here and here. Up here, we're overbought already. Can't do anything with that yet. You by just absolute by law of the land. You have to let that come back and take a look. Overbought, overbought, overbought. So looking for that thing to roll over and then let it come in. With all of these, I mean, it's not something when your HSI is already triggered bearish and you're trending down that you're buying into that move. Just be aware of that. Use those metrics, use those indicators for at least short-term pivots. Okay, thank you, Carthago. Appreciate that. Yep. The YFII is the one from our friends over there. A few more. So things that haven't moved. Things that are still on the, on the level. I like looking at that crypto.com because, hey, if that thing's going to survive, yeah, maybe after a pullback. Where was it this Arpa chain? Yeah, this is some back-to-back pattern stuff. But that's not what I was looking at. Oh, we have stuff like this. Now, I don't know what the Assemble protocol is, but that quietly is a 5x already, almost 6x, because down here you're at 0.008 cents. Now you're almost, you're 5x going to 4 cents. But this is another one. You had a pattern at the low, but really the realm of possibility is what's the prior range? And that's what a lot of the other crypto, the T coins, S coins, things that have gotten moving, really moving, if it's Avalanche or even Solana, okay, or things like this, it's a super base. That is a super base where you can do more. Get above the obvious resistance, which is like 5 cents, then this thing could really go. Here's another one, total sleeper. I'm not in this yet. I'm looking at it. This is another one, this AMP. This is on the major exchanges. It was 7 cents, 10 cents, depending on your feed. But getting over a lot of oversold triggers just in the last 2 weeks. And so this one popped over 0.002, basically 0.0015 was the place to be looking for it. So, and that's a T coin and a half. You're looking for this thing in a speculative move to go crazy off of this. Another one, kind of a dud, big pattern at the low, but that was at 1 cent. Now you're at a fraction of a penny, but it's interesting. I'm looking at all of these really from a trading perspective. If this is going to be a major basing formation like Solana or Avalanche, the same kind of proportional moves are going to happen. One or two more. Yeah, we covered XRP. And XRP is underperforming. XRP is just, we mentioned that, just kind of not exploding like the rest of these. But this is the thing. I mentioned this yesterday to my group. We'll probably get one more bullish candle. We're going to get a yellow dot. So you'll have a high level yellow dot here, like the last couple of ones, where that at least served as a point of continuation. And that's what I'm looking for here. It might be tomorrow. Let's see if we get bullish today. It would be today. You see this bunching though. It's pretty interesting. I mean, XRP is super tight. I think it's going to still ride. We get a yellow dot and we can ride that trend line. So be it. That would be what you'd want to see. Continued move. H bar. Why is that familiar? H bar is oh, that's a nice one. Almost a perfect T2. Almost perfect. Yeah, I would. You'd have to wait on that. Just like another one. You're hitting some overbought. There's some 4-hour patterns. Maybe H bar could come down to like target 1, maybe. I don't know. And then something like that. I showed you guys the crypto.com. That setup. I think that's really. There you go. Look, this is the kind of pattern pullback phenomenon we want to see. And I started with this. Keep an eye on that one. Martin, what's going on? Martin wants to look at Matic. And Matic is making progress. Had patterns there. Where are we going? The daily. Yeah, it had big patterns at 52 cents. Remember that? And we hit target 1 at 91. Yeah, I can't do anything. I won't allow it. Not when you're at target 1 and you have 1, 2 yellow dots. You're going to have to just put that on the side and monitor. A lot of these are in a monitoring stage right now because they've done their move and they haven't triggered or they're not triggering anything that is of consequence that would say, all right, you're not chasing here. You're executing off of a retest or, something, at least something concrete. A few more. What about this? Was it Harmony 1? Hold on. I thought this one had it's another one of these. Talk about T coins. Looks like it was going to zero. There's a whole bunch of oversold triggers down here. But sorry, I got to go to the data feed. Oh, there it was. That was the pattern. There's a bearish pattern at the moment, but you could run to 180 on this. Where was the, sorry. Get back to the bullish pattern. Oh, it was this right at the low. That's right. Really tight 1-2 at 0.008. It doubled. 4-hour chart though. Bring the 4-hour chart maybe back down to like 120. Couple more. Kusama, KSM. Amazing. That's amazing. 16 to 28 in a very short period of time. On the 4-hour, doesn't this have, yeah, I remember looking at that a while back thinking, I have no idea what Kusama is other than I remember seeing that pattern. What about a weekly? Not yet. Not yet. A different data feed. I think that is a limiting feed there. Let me get like Binance. There you go. Get a couple of those on there. There's Binance. So yeah, I knew that. I knew the last run was really sick in this. So you're $25. The last cycle all-time high was above 500. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. You know, these are 99 or 95% off their all-time highs. And there you go. Kusama, big patterns looking left. What's that? Right there at like 19 and change was that last crab. I mean, it's not ideal. Okay, that's typically we want to see patterns complete and do their move and do the 1-2. This hits the lows and goes sideways for a year and a half. But yeah, I think again another one where trigger it on the 4-hour. You know, give me some oversold like here and there. So those last two are around 24 bucks. I mean, relative to the history, it hasn't moved yet. I'll come up with that. I'll come back to that. A good one though to look at. It's a test net for Cosmos. I have no idea. Let's see. One or two more. So things that haven't moved. Things that are still down there. So here's the real dud, Chiliz. And we talked about forever, 11.2 cents. Way back when it went to 5, now it's busting to 8. This can be something. Why? Because we've seen it run in past cycles. And I think if you're down here anywhere or under 10 cents, you're probably looking at taking a shot. I mean, it's there you go. There's the patterns looking left. It's a couple of patterns. You know, the XA level was 11.3. The hop level, that's what it wanted to hit, and that was the low at 5.5. You're only at 7.7. It's not going to be as exciting as some of the others, but something to look at. Especially with these that have already moved 3, 4, 5x. They're really tough to chase. Here's this AGIX. It's another big Gartley pattern. Look, couple of HSIs not able to get up off of the support yet, but target one still 36 cents. And it is a great pattern. I think like we've seen, I'll get into a couple of the stocks in a second because it's like a delayed effect. You hit the patterns, you go sideways for a while, and then in a big move, you finally start to get out of the zone. That's what's going on here. Break it down to a 4-hour or hourly. You know, if you're looking for entry spots on something like this, well, you had a couple of things back at 17, and then just recently, even a high level. Look, HSI dot, that's what you're looking for. Hold on, let me check something. Let me see if it's ready. Okay, sweet. Let me dial Mitch in here. Okay. 1 second. Get him in here on a couple of. There you go. There we go, Mitch Ray. Mitch? Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think we got a second. Can't hear you, man. Hold on, let me check. Make sure you're all set up here. Oh, hold on. I know what's going on. All right, let's try that.
Yo, can you hear me?
He's in. Yeah, I had to hit something. Okay, everybody.
It's all good.
Mitch Ray is in the house. Big shout out. Mitch, thanks for showing up today.
Yeah, man. Of course. Always fun times when I get an invite, on the stream. I see you've been talking about like just most cryptos, altcoins under the sun today, right?
Yeah, the T coins, the ones that, we want to see go 30x or more
Did
next
you
year.
I mean, I was listening, like I was like making my breakfast and all that stuff. Did you look at Filecoin? Did I
Uh,
miss that one?
we did look at Filecoin with some patterns. It just starting to move. I think there's kind of yeah, we had a big Gartley up here. Hold on a second. There you go. Where I with a lot of these that are going on that are flashing patterns like Filecoin, I think there's going to be opportunities after they react off of something like that. So 453 would be a great spot to look at, because then what I'm thinking within the pattern context is they do that reaction and then they go to the retest and explode. So
Okay. So you think, I mean, like on this one, what kind of emphasis are you going to put on that $5 486 support resistance going back to June 2022? Do
yeah,
you
that
see it looking low?
yeah that matches up with a few things. You have some patterns, some pattern levels, and I'm really just trying to go off of what the software kicks out to say, okay,
Yeah.
stay on those levels. There's uh, for just trying to do exclusive harmonic patterns. Yes, there's definite other important inflection points. I'm looking for the general areas like this. I mean, Filecoin hasn't moved relative to, say, a lot of the other T coins, but you certainly have pattern
Yeah.
levels just below 5. And if that is working its way out, one of the thoughts that I have is that in this consolidation, and especially the first thrust move, you're going to get bearish patterns. Like you're going to form a W structure, something like that off of the low, where it'll have to react. But if we're going to enter a new trend, or if it's really going to be a lot stronger coming out of the low, what happens is you fail the patterns on the retest. And that's kind of
Okay.
the strategy I'm looking for now into the next, I don't know, 4, 6, 8 weeks as we get closer to 2024. That you have harmonics, it respects like the natural reaction phenomenon, but then it on the retest, it's an acceleration, where the pattern itself, the fact that it fails it eventually, is the sign of strength, even more so than just a straight up pattern or a type 2. So it's we've seen it before. Let me think. Let me go back to, I think it was Ethereum. Yeah, here's Ethereum. This is the thought on Ethereum, where we had a bearish pattern on Ethereum right here. I don't know if you can see it, but back in December, February time frame last year, we had this bat pattern. It did a beautiful type 1 to the target, and then the follow through move. This is really demonstrating kind of that phenomenon that you blow through, you fail the pattern, and it leads to bigger things. So it's,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So we'd be looking for like just, almost like if any of these W's are completing on your software, they're almost just going to be pulling like pseudo 5 O's or 5 O's, and that's like where they pivot, and then they would probably like take out the highs of the harmonic if we're trend reversing.
yeah,
Where they 50% retraces, like file, for instance, on file, it was like, it looked like a $4 area for the arrow before the pivot. And that's pretty cool because that lines up with the 200-day simple moving average, might be, regarded. So yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here.
no, that makes sense. And you're looking for that thrust to get out of there. With something like Filecoin, and I think it's going to happen one of two ways. You do like a back test kind of phenomenon against some clear pattern levels, and then fail whatever the bearish structure is on the retest, or You get stuff like we have right now in Bitcoin. We had a perfect Gartley on that last dump earlier in the week to 34,934. So that did a type 1 rage, but it's just a reaction. I mean, it really wasn't even anything other than a reaction. So now you come all the way back down. You're 36,300 at the moment. I think you come all the way back down under 35 now and retest this Gartley to create a launch pad.
Yeah, interesting.
This is gonna
Yeah,
happen a lot.
that
Go ahead.
I mean, someone had identified that M shape, probably saw it on your software, but yeah, type 2 would be like legit around like 35K. And there's a channel that's been like really well respected on the 4 hour. It's kind of unbelievable how it like I'll like send a DM to you, which is kind of what it looks like right now, but just uncanny. But I mean, like, just based on the 4 hour, normally these things will break up or break down or get extremely violated, and they'll just kind of be like, okay, whatever, too much time's gone by. But like for now, it's been holding up pretty well. And I mean, like, maybe a type 2 could take you even to 35.7 to test that demand line of that channel. I don't know. Just, yeah.
There you go. There's Mitch's chart. Yeah, that makes sense. And this thing is, it's just hugging that trend channel line. Hasn't really violated it since that big thrust. And I don't, there's really not much. Well, there's a lot there. I mean, the next channel test is incredibly significant because it's backed up with not only an hourly but a 4 hour Gartley at the top here, and that makes sense in terms of being a high level continuation structure. Come on back down for one more test and maybe even some confirmation. And this is what you want to wait for. I know it's not easy for people in crypto to wait for setups, but you got to. And that textbook ideal retest, it confirmed that support with the pattern, and then really go off of there. I mean, that's where I think personally one more retest down to that 35K, and then your fireworks into the end of the year, because I still say we have to get to 39, 38.7. We were almost there
Yeah.
a couple times. We have to hit that now.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like just weird. Like on the daily, it's like certain that like 40,600 to 42K is like the top, like the next major inflection point that's discernible to the eye. But then if you go to the weekly, it changes, and you see where like the weekly closes are. It's like 38 to 39K. So, and you've kind of already done that, and really, what would be kind of scary, man. I mean, like I just looked at the weekly on Bitcoin, like I'm looking at it now, and it's like I don't think you want to tweezer top here because that's like two perfect wicks at the candle close from 2021. Yeah, like if you go back to January 2021, where that's kind of where it was manufactured as a resistance. Two perfect wicks now are like they haven't quite touched it. I mean, like, yeah, it's like a sneeze where you got to sneeze but you can't. You were about, I don't know, $150 away from testing it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I've had it and the way it's been set up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this would be the first, if we 3 days, 6 hours, this would be the first red candle we've seen since October 9th. Also like over a month, if it stayed as this, but there's so much time left.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, Bitcoin's down 1,500 or something in a day. It's almost a sign of like, yeah, we're just doing a quick washout and we're getting ready again. Um, Target one off the crab pattern is 38,761. That is varied a little bit, but 37, 38 generally has always been the target. And I do think that, yeah, there's also a lot of argument to suggest that some kind of run up to 50 would happen. It might not happen this year, but it could happen before the halving in the first month or two next year, to go to target two. So clearly, you've broken out. We did the launch And we did have, you did have the 1-2. I mean, perfect. You had the type 1 and type 2 bat pattern that launched this at 25 to blast it. So you have things here looking left. You've also, here's another example. Look, you failed this little pattern and you failed that pattern. So you failed two patterns here at 32,000. And normally you do something like that, especially in this kind of a trend, you just continue higher until you form another pattern or hit like a higher time frame objective. So I think within all of that, a little pullback today, you're probably thinking, okay, get ready for another 4-hour or hourly oversold reading as your next continuation spot. So that's that. And I think this 34,934, we're going to hit that. Maybe, maybe tomorrow, maybe over the weekend, come down and hit that. And that's, for me, I think that sets up for really into the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in 2020, like we had a run leading up to Thanksgiving, and like on Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving was like a pretty massive correction. I mean, massive, like a pretty, big correction, and then it recovered, and then going into Christmas, it like rallied again, and then on Christmas, it busted out and continued. So we were kind of in the season for, and then this also was going on in 2017, like right around this time. Like, I mean, we've had multiple cycles crescendo from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So I wonder if, of course, history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it is curious that we're in that time of the year. Like, how you'd be like, oh, hey, we're in this time of the year where, like, Black Friday or Black Monday was 1929, or Black Monday, Black Thursday in 29, and then in 87, Black Monday. It's around this time, so will be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's interesting. You do seem to get inflections around Thanksgiving. Don't know why that is. There's maybe there.
You know why? It's the composite operator, man. He knows people that trade or own, this asset class are going to be going home, reconvening with their family. So therefore, they'll be preaching the gospel of the gains, and then the family's going to be. Oh, those are just more army members in the composite operator's game to mark up the price, so he can eventually offload it, and conclude his campaign that's been ongoing, right?
Yeah.
It's just a thesis. I'm just screwing around. I'm just messing around, right? That's like, hey, we're thinking just beyond technical analysis here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I also think, like, it's happening faster than I think a lot of people envisioned. I was looking for an October, November timeframe to be getting positioned there for next year. And I do think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that's going to happen here in the next year, and people are going to throw money at crypto. So let's ride. But Bitcoin long-term chart still looks beautiful, and just keep riding this kind of general parabolic inflection. I don't think that's crazy. You're going to get, but you're going to get pullbacks along the way. And the other thing was, wanted to show, just pop up this regression channel. Where'd you go? Come on, because it's super clean, and we're at the top of it right now. Hold on. I can't find it. I should know where that is. Hold on.
Yeah, I would think like even on this run, so Bitcoin, something special happened in the past like week, I guess week and a half now. We finally saw on the weekly at least a 38% retrace from the all-time high to the November 2022 lows. So we finally like achieved the golden zone. So, and that's where we are literally right now, like pretty much close to the dollar of it. I mean, 382, 36,047. So, I mean, you're there as I'm speaking. And a 50% retrace is 42,430, and the 618 is 48,634. And so like, you know, you could think about this possibly like if it's a 2019 rerun, we saw a 61.8% retrace from the old all-time high to that December 2018 low.
You mean
You know,
this
where it ran.
phenomenon back here in 19?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you just think about it, this is the initial run up, and then we would top out in the golden zone somewhere, and then we would just go on this, you know, grindy downtrend that could last for 6+ months to however long. You know, for a retest or a check back of like close to the teens, if that was even the case, which I'm not even saying it is. I mean, what we would need to, we still have a little more upside
Yeah,
before it, you know.
to draw, basically start drawing a W formation that would get you going to shoot a 1618 expansion. Where'd you go? Come on back here. It would look like something like this. I know what Mitch is getting at. And I've suggested this as well, where, maybe you get to this B point of a 50 or a 618, and then generally like that, and you again minimum. It's not a crazy thought here that if it's going to be a big cycle move, it does a 1618 extension, and that's just, that's basic natural market action. That's about 103, 105,000, and that's just a simple
Yeah.
1618. But you do need to form a B point,
Yep. And we're
and
on the way.
yeah, and the C point you'd want that to be a minimum 382. It's just kind of that's I think a minimum harmonic swing is, some people you can say 236, and I think that's worthwhile in terms of gauging any move. But a real for a pattern, a 382 move would be sufficient. And so we're just kind of like tracing out potential ideas, but 48, 49 give you your B point, then come back like one more time, the 36 or 35, and then go. There's a lot of things that line up for
That'd be awesome.
something like that.
If you had it plotted that way, it'd be amazing. Because it kind of like eyeballing it to me looks like the C point will be back testing that. You see the lows in 2021, like in the summer 2021, it'd be like a check back.
Yeah, yeah. We
And
we had a we had a type 2. I mean, we had these just historic textbook patterns, and you had the 1-2 here. You had a back-to-back pattern, and this is the kind of thing. When I say looking left, patterns looking left, this is really what I'm saying is the exact type of thing we want to see when we get away from this. When you're a year from now or whatever, you say, okay, I had this and I had that looking left, and I was positioning down here in the zone to capture the big cycle run. We don't have it on this one with Bitcoin. We didn't really get any patterns there. On the daily we did, but it's more about this kind of daily pattern, the crab pattern that we have that finished the cycle at around 19,000, even though we went as low as 15,000. This is still the most relevant pattern, and those two levels are 38.7 and then 50,300, and that's probably where, even tracing out, the B point fits within that area. Again, if this is going to follow a W kind of formation, I agree with that.
so the B point though, if you go back to that weekly, you go back to history to like where, we ended up completing, another in the COVID crash, right? The Black Swan event created to where we went down 88% from the previous low. Where some would think that could be how it ends up in this situation on Bitcoin, where we would probably end up, if from like the October, or November 2022 low to say it topped out now, you think that would take us all the way back down to like 18K. But you just got to think like, I mean, what's the probability of a black swan event where the entire world economy stops and halts? You know, like that's why we got an 886 back then. So I don't think it's very probable this time we see that and an 886. That's why you have like a 382, because you could take that C point the way you have it right now and you could draw it down, because that's the minimum, right? I mean, we could go to a 618
Yeah,
or lower
you
on the C
could.
point.
You could. You could go to a 50 or a 618. I agree with that. And that's under 30.
It just depends how much FUD or what's the, you know, kind of the market sentiment that could drive it further. And, you know, sometimes Bitcoin tends to overshoot inflection points. So it might be like liquidity grabs when it goes lower than those inflection points.
It could be
Yeah,
like
into trigger stops, you know. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
it could be like the
PD.
futures. They brought the futures in pretty much right at the top, or didn't the futures come in like here? BTC futures came in or up here. They came in really close to the top, and that provided the big boys a way to sell it and drive the price down, in my opinion. But just looking at that process, yeah, I don't, you know, you don't want this to go straight up. I would prefer to see that kind of scenario. Why? Because when you do finish the X and the A and the B, and now you go to the C, that's a more complex formation to get going. We're still in this resolution of this year-long thrust that I agree. I think, you know, a 618 puts you at around 48. That could be your top
Yep.
end. You know, I think 39.40 is not crazy, and people FOMOing that it could drive it a little bit higher. But you're looking for a W formation, and you had it. Let me go back to even.
There's just no mania right now. Like people just have to understand like mania oftentimes drives the tip end of these rallies. Like we've been in an uptrend technically since the beginning of the year, and right now there is no mania. I just hope you understand that. Like, and this is coming from, I mean, people get on YouTube. People like there are metrics to determine like sentiment from like, you know, the FOMOers and the people that the composite operator has compelled to join the market because they don't normally join. Like for instance, in 2019, when Bitcoin was hitting that 618 retrace, June 24th, June 26th, 2019. I mean, I had nearly 4,000 people were watching my live stream during that stream. I mean, and leading up to it, my numbers were like exploding. And the amount of like activity on Twitter and chat, everything was nuts. And right now, it's not like insane like that. I mean, you have people that, and oh, and by the way, very few people were like, oh, this is the top. We're done. People were coming in. I'm buying. Like people are like the dumbest of dumb money were coming in at the 618. And right now we don't really, you're not seeing that. People are still like in disbelief and like, it won't last. This rally is a joke. This is stupid. Every day on my streams. So sentiment wise, if we are not like at, oh yeah, Bitcoin has truly topped out of this year's rally. Like it's not there. I mean, if it happens, fine. But again, another beyond technical analysis observation.
Yeah, I want that to like 618 to 618 practically back to 618, and that's common for crypto. I mean, it did go a little bit lower than that, but
Yeah.
yeah, when we get up there, I think the 38, 39 is a minimum. If you could go as high as 48 or 50, especially if you got just shy of 50, that would be a big psychological consideration. Not everybody's looking at you know, the minority looking at Fibonacci harmonic pattern levels. But here you go. I mean, it's if we're looking at 2019, it's that kind of a thing, and you know what you have up here. You're looking for, you know, this kind of divergence, top out in indicators or amplified, all that kind of stuff. Where when we get up there, and we are overbought currently, no doubt. Let's
Sure.
go to those. Take a look at where we are now in terms of
barely on the weekly. We're only like 71.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing that is happening right now with in terms of RSI. I wanted to mention this. So we have an overbought that just clicked out of the zone here. But this is an M formation. It's a complex RSI formation, I call it, where it's a good thing. I mean, but we're certainly in a reaction where if we come back down, this should get us to the 50 level on RSI, and then
Oof.
the next rebound is where it should go. And all of these are lining up. There's amplified RSI, and that's already kissing the 50. So watch that.
Definitely diverging to a level, to a degree. You're diverging some price and oscillators.
Yeah, and I would expect where Bitcoin needs to come down even lower and trigger something on the daily to get this segment, maybe the next segment or the next push up needs to come on some kind of retracement here. So if that's something like off this hourly, where I do think like right now we're in a little pullback phase on Bitcoin where especially because of this pattern, we're going to have to come back and do some work. But think of it in terms of literally weeks, not months, because I do think there's going to be more FOMO into the end of the year and come January. But I would still say for right now, you haven't finished the whole segment for this week. You come back, retest 35. There are some things there. I was just saying in my last session, I was like, yeah, come back and, retest the prior resistance and then go. So if you guys are looking for an opportunity, there's probably another one coming in the next day or so. We'll get this.
Yeah, it would be insanely like beyond bullish if like somehow we're just pivoting randomly now, and starting to run again to break 38K. That would just be, there might be just no supply, like just legitimately. I don't know. Someone had been buying and just absorbing supply at 30K, buying 25K for 6-7 months, man. And then you broke out on high volume and just there is no more structure. It's just your impulse. You're in the impulse phase right now, and that pullback we got yesterday or 2 days ago was like a 23% retrace from that September 11th low. And that's like really shallow. And so you think like even on pullbacks, if it is a 236, it's uncommon for it to just pivot and start rallying. And so it has, sure, we made the highest daily candle close in 18 months yesterday, but you still just can't rule out the fact that we could still see a 382 to 618 between 30K and 33K. Again, just for like your daily discernible swing low to this new swing high, it's valid because of the 236. You just can't be that surprised. And what about a check back of 31K? Because that has not happened, right? Like all market participants have no idea if 31K that had been a resistance in April, resistance from June to July of this year is support. So, a check back, it would be the most like common thing ever if Bitcoin, the market participants push the price down to test that. But who knows with the high volume breakout if we're going to get that opportunity before seeing 40K, right? Before. Because you see 40K and then eventually see 31K for the check back later.
Yeah. We've had a lot of moves. Big thrust breakout move, and then even after that big thrust breakout move, you look at the patterns that have generated where you still get these reactions. And again, I think bearish patterns are your friend, not necessarily something to fear in an uptrend, because what happens with bearish patterns, we know in strong trends, they do the pause, the reaction, and then they continue higher after they finish the initial digestion phase. And you'd so see that, and a lot of it is some kind of internal 1618 market moves, like a 1618 advance or a little bit more than that, and then constantly gives you these quick pullbacks and goes again. And I think, you know, we're going to keep doing that when inside of this bigger daily and weekly move that you're not going to see that unless you look at an hourly time frame, but we're still grinding here, and that's amazing that we've held up this far, but you're still looking for something like that to continue. But we could slam against that trend line. I mean, even poke underneath it in some shakeout. So I think
What do you?
35 before we go
Yeah.
higher.
What do you think about like just thinking here because you've just been in the market way longer than me and probably everyone else in the chat. I mean, what do you just think about like the whole phenomenon of Bitcoin, fixed supply, what it is, money printing of the government, debt, just insane amounts of debt piling up for our treasury, misallocation of funding with our own representatives who betrayed us. I mean, do you, and that now like institutions getting involved to be custodians of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I mean, do you think like it's real, like to where you think about just the math of Bitcoins, you know, limited supply, and these like 12 different institutions have applied for an ETF, you know? I mean, like, do you think like, is it as simple as just looking at the GLD chart when it was listed in 2004 and looking at it after it was listed and where it went, right? It went from like $500, $400 to all the way up to like 1800 or something, right? 1790. What is your thought on like that? You know, like just all of
Is
it.
it going to work as an investment class? Is the question. And I would think yes. I would think, yeah, the digital gold analogy that a lot of people are, especially the street, were suspect of. They see that it works. I think you have a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy going on here that, you know, if you build it, they will come. And you've got the big boys that are, you know, they're buy and hold, they're not selling, and they're telling you they're not selling, whether they lie to your face or not. I don't think they're selling on this. And I don't think the one thing that's going on now that really only started in the probably early 2000s was just the hyper inflated money supply. And so you guys are playing I mean, not you or me or us individually, but
Collectively, though, yeah.
collectively, yeah, we're dealing with a market that has, you know, per person, a multiple of the money supply that it did 20, 25 years ago. And then certainly ever since this thing took shape, the sheer dollar inflation or the COVID
In 3
phenomenon.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40% in 3 years. I mean, if you would have done that 30 years ago, I think the public would have had a better understanding on it, and they would have probably lynched those politicians. But now you know, it's the wild spending and printing. It's not even so much printing as it is spending. It's the deficit spending that it continues to be allowed. So it doesn't matter what really Powell does if these guys are just going to continue spending and you know, taking on 2 trillion, 1.5 trillion of debt now a year, that's not paid for, then that does make sense. And it for a vehicle like Bitcoin to gain attention and traction, um, you know, that makes sense. And so why? So what's the big deal? Why wouldn't these people just go into a crypto exchange? Because fundamentally, the big money just they still know their broker, and they're, you know, the big money family office relationships where people have 5, 10, 50 billion in a family office. They're going to look to get that exposure through more secured banking means, not necessarily like, hey, I'm going to go on this crypto Coinbase exchange and buy myself 500 million Bitcoin. I mean, it happens, but I think older money, more conservative money, they do see buying it through a spot ETF or a GBTC as a safer way to go. It just there are things that still persist, traditional conservative kind of an outlook like that. People are not risk averse to take on crypto in size unless they could get it through their broker. And that's most of us are into crypto. We know about crypto, but 99% of the real investing public, yeah, they still are in the dark, but they will throw money at a spot ETF if it comes out. And especially like, you would think like financial advisors and certified financial planners, they would know more about investments, but the fact is they don't. They know about
Or
allocation, but they don't this
just
stuff,
like
no.
the mutual funds, right? Like where say you just you have a 401k and every 2 weeks you're contributing to it. It's, of course, like not self-directed. So you'd think like the mutual funds would add iShares, Bitcoin, or GBTC or whatever after. Like they're not doing it now, but so it's just and that's like why people theorize that the reason why there's such a crazy breadth in the market is because of like the new money that had been coming in the system. Just is automatically being put into those bigger names, and it's not because like Joe Schmo is doing it. It's because the mutual fund he is invested in has a higher allocation into those high yielding tech stocks than it would be any of the small caps and underperformers. So you just maybe could think about it like, Michael Saylor that's his whole thesis on Bitcoin, is because it's one of the only assets that exists in the world that can even keep up yield wise with like the Magnificent Seven. So that's like why he just keeps hoarding it. And you just think, okay, well maybe that's what happens. Everyone gets the green light. Mutual funds say, all right, we're going to start allocating a certain percentage of people's money that they're putting in these 401ks into just into these ETFs that are 1-to-1 spot price for Bitcoin.
You open up the possibility for passive investing, and the sheer dollar sums of that are enormous. The people who are kicking money to
Every 2 weeks, yeah.
yeah, or even like the government pensions, stuff like that. You don't even think about that kind of stuff. They're all going to want, they're going to eventually get to a piece of this, and they could wait till Bitcoin is at 100,000. That they're not going to care because they're going to wait for historical investment performance to be established. And once it is, and say, oh, this Bitcoin thing, yeah, okay, it's been up, 30% every year for the last X number of years. Yeah, I'll allocate a little piece, like in the same way they will gold. And that's how the money almost automatically will trickle in and push that over time. But I still think though the patterns are gonna we're still gonna get massive patterns. We're still gonna get clear signals within all of that. And what should happen really is that if the activity gets going, and you see a lot of buying behavior, what you should see are a lot of bullish patterns along the way that kind of establish themselves. And yeah, here's the 4-hour chart. I want to on Grayscale Bitcoin Trust of the last couple of bullish patterns. We had that month weekly I showed you, and then we had a few sharks down here, a crab and a shark. It's going to be like this, where you do a thrust, you consolidate, you form like a shark, and then you go again, or consolidate a 1618 crab and go again. And that is, we should see that a lot actually. And again, I think we should see it even now, where we're getting these thrusts, and we should get consolidation of another pattern. And the amount of bullish patterns, it's like a sign, is actually a good thing. You're building and building, but you're forming pattern, higher pattern after higher pattern, bullish that is, much like this is happening, where each pattern is kind of like a cog, if you will, turning into the next move. And we did see like GBTC is a massive, it's weekly, it's also a monthly pattern. We're at target one. Now, are we going to come back and do a type 2? Well, you'd need confirmation. I'm looking here at 29 carefully, but this too mean, this did the W formation last run too, where you have an XA, B was at a 382, come on up, and that one almost a 1618. It was really close.
What would give you a type 2 on that Garley?
You'd have to come back the real type
Oof.
2, like let's say this was happening right now and we did hit target 1, and 29 has been the number I've been talking about really since the beginning of the year. The XA is at 15, so you hit target 1, then you come back and you hit the XA one more time. I don't know if that's going to happen because you have things like you have some really strong overbought readings where you want them, if this is going to be a forceful move, you want that to stay overbought. So we'll see this week. We'll know this week. If this backs off this week, okay, then you're probably in a digestion phase where you either come all the way back or you trigger something between 29 and 15. I'm not saying that's what's happening just yet, but we want to see that one too, or something, like the 2019 did give you a nice move up and a retest to form the low and then really take off. I think that's the way to go for this, where let's say that's the pivot right now. That's the pivot. What's a minimum 382? Minimum 382 is still 21.22, and then go. You want the W. You really want the market to form the W formation, because once you get into that CD leg and you take off,
Oof, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, that's usually structural acceleration. So it's
a lot of gaps to fill too.
A lot of gaps. I mean, I don't want to get crazy yet on things. You got. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Solana, because
Oh my god, dude, things crazy.
I mean,
It's
it is insane. But
yeah, I haven't even checked it today.
It was up at 68 and backed off, and this is where even like the 5-minute chart, when you get
Well,
these,
it broke out. 58.42, $56 was like your last real big resistance, right? Until you see like maybe 78. Like that's it. There, if you're just in an impulse phase, there's not much analysis to give, right? It's just where are we Fibonacci wise? Does it even matter if we're looking left? Like, and you've broken out. You could anchor a couple ways. You could anchor a Fibonacci from April 2022 to the low point, and you haven't even seen a 50% retrace. In fact, yesterday, a couple days ago, you just hit a 38% retrace, not even from the all-time high, just from that, again, April 2022 high. So if you're looking at Solana's all-time high to the lowest low of the correction or whatever, you have you're literally, oh my God, have you Fibonacci'd that? You're like touching, as of today, at its highest high, the highest high of the entire rally being at 200% in like a month. You're hitting the 236, the major 236. That's crazy.
yeah,
So
right there.
you have officially hit your first fib node, your first major fib node today, not even yesterday. That's crazy.
236 at 68.
Yep, that's crazy, man. So of course, a reaction here would that happens all the time at 236s, but they're normally like mild, minor. You could just get a 382 from here, 50% pull back. Who cares? Back test one of them. There are so many levels. Like you could look at 47, 48 could be back tested as support, or you could go down to 38, $40 for a back test. Any of those. Pivot, and then you would run again, and then you're looking. The golden zone does not start. The major golden zone does not occur till 104.89, and it concludes at 164. So this is certainly an area where, like, if you care about Fibonacci like at all, you've touched it today. So that's my thoughts, I guess. Right? I haven't even. This is the first time I've looked at it like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's and I have a lot of big weekly target ones that are 122, 125, and I don't. That's not a crazy thought. I mean, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
It,
just wow, what a run,
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have hourly 4-hour pauses. That's what you want to see, but this is another one where, hey, I'm not going to tell you, I can't tell you and predict, yeah, this is going to go all-time new highs. What the way I'm looking at these are beautiful patterns, looking left, definition of looking left pattern. And then what's my obvious target? Well, reaction target 122.43. That's a double from current levels. But that's not
Which is
crazy.
it's psycho, dude. That's, I mean, in a way, I mean, not like if you look at Fibonacci, it's not psycho, it's not crazy, but like it literally is. If you're talking about percentage yield in a certain amount of time, that is crazy. That's like unheard of. That's like that never happens on traditional markets, right? And that's why we love crypto, because we are not on traditional market and we're applying traditional technical analysis to it. And so this is like another reason why, I mean, like when the market conditions are conducive for longs, it's a superior trading vehicle, right? I mean, yes, of course, there's some higher risk involved, but welcome to the world, man. You cannot like become exceptional in life without taking some sort of risk. And so like that's like the double-edged sword of cryptocurrency. Like and it's momentum driven. So like when the trend's bad and bearish, you better look out. You better be careful. You could get destroyed. You could lose it all. And same thing on the other side. But when momentum flips, right, and when we start putting in higher lows, and like you were talking about these long periods of time where the bottoming bases are put in, but then all of a sudden, after all that chop, you're talking like an effing like 10, 12-month period of just sideways. But like the thing is, after that period, you're not even coming close to rivaling the previous lows, like on Solana, like for instance, right? I mean, if you look at the lowest low in January, the beginning of the year, and then you look at all the other lows that are discernible on the daily, like March, like in June, and like in September, not one of them even came close to rivaling that previous low. So that right there, just knowing what lows represent, higher lows, lower lows, you know that there's someone out there had made a large purchase at the bottom, and they still own it. And so, like, the really nice bullish back test occurred. It was a spring back test, September 27th, where this low from May of 2021 was reconfirmed as support. And that was literally the trigger. And so that's why I put a huge emphasis in my community on my streams, and try to tell people about the spring and the back test of spring. Because if you like completed Harmonic and then some sort of spring back test, I mean, that is the dream. Like that's like, your probability probably shoots up to like 75% chance of a particular outcome. Like it's like the best edge you could ever have. So, sorry, just kind of like going on a rant here about just this market and how good and how terrible it can be at the same time.
Yeah, no, it is it's truth, and it's how you have to be looking at that, where you can target those zones where the true breakout really does occur. There's Solana. I mean, look, it's had a couple of big, quick, sharp pullbacks ever since it did break out, and we're probably still climbing within this, but you could get another 8-point pullback and go again, and it seemed like a lot when zoom out and you say, all right, well, wow, that's aggressive, and still climbing up to what I think is target one. That was Solana. Yeah, that's Solana there. And then the other one, Avalanche, that was the other one. Similar,
Oh, I
very
haven't looked at
similar.
that one.
Yeah.
It like blew up, didn't it, or something?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
it is a lot of similarities there. Big fat target ones that are
man,
looking a lot higher here, even though we're already in the
this
mid
is what a
20s.
great chart, man. I mean, like it's not that great. Like, I don't know how you feel about like, harmonics that complete and they're perfect, like FIL, YFI, H bar, a few other Neo, I think was a good one. But then you look at like Avalanche here, and it's like it was, it started out being okay, but it didn't hit an 886 and then like recovered there. It like went way below the X point, from December 30th, if you were to plot it that way. I just don't like, those are just the tougher ones for me. I get that like the buyers defended this June and July 2021 inflection point and double bottom there, so there were things, but I don't know, man. Like I like have trouble with these compared to the ones that are like perfect. Like literally, like FIL was like actually perfect. And a handful of others were perfect. And this one like violated. Like how do you strategize an entry on the harmonic the type 2 return and all that when it's like going below the PCZ, it's going below critical supports from 2021. It just those bother me a little bit.
Yeah, you got to look at where the confirmation is, and that's been the trouble of the last 15 months is that you got oversold on a few of these, but you just kind of bumbled along here until recently, where it took a couple of triggers to get out. And even I think it also had to do with stuff like the fact that a lot of this was just still under the weight of the downtrend of last year. And so your real signals that came to the right of that downtrend were there, or total index is probably a great way to look at it too, because the total index did that. It had patterns that literally completed a year ago, but they didn't really bust the move until recently. And you can even see, like, let me just move this over. The first breakout, there you go, of this downtrend really wasn't until beginning of this year. So the starting point for it, trend line wise, really wasn't until January or February. By February you were out, and so you were in a different situation than say a year ago because you finally did get out. Let me go to the monthly's clean chart, like this. There you go. And that's why I think the lesson of it, where for the next bear market, is once you put in that inflection and you start rolling over and you put a couple of red candles on a monthly chart, well, you're going to have to ride it. You have to write it down. Conversely, though, where you are now, not only is it higher lows, but that's a super steady chart on the monthly for the total crypto. So I don't even care if you do pull back and do some retracement. You just hold that uptrend over the next year. That's going to put a floor into this market, and I think you'll do more than that. But you have this. I mean, you really have just kind of like that tight channel, and then we will get the breakout saucer separation move. Once we get out of this trend line, you'll go into a new character, dare I say moon phase. But I think you're going to stay contained in this channel for now, and then by the time you do the breakout, which is above 1.6 trillion, you're going to see a different character. You will see moon candles. You'll see massive 10-20% candles that continue, like what we saw back here. There you go, from 2020 low. There's the dot. I mean, we had a HSI dot, and we still spent 6 months, and it looked really good after making the low in 2020, and you're climbing, but it was still 6 months until you exploded. And so there's our yellow dot, and we're 3.6, we're 8 months, 9 months now, and maybe now we start that, this phase that we started from, I guess it was really, January 21 up until September, October. It's the same kind of a thing where, here we go again. Maybe it's January 24 into September, October again. You get above that channel, but you have all of the things you'd want to see in a bullish construction. I mean, that's really nice that once we get above that, you'll see acceleration.
Yeah, if you're looking at I know you're looking at total, but I'm just like looking at Bitcoin on the monthly. There is no overhead resistance till 45,827, and of course, if in 14 days if we're reversing here soon, Even like the candle low close that potentially could be an inflection point is $35,000. So there's just on the monthly nothing here, nothing, and the RSI is sitting at like 57, and that's that's, if you can believe it, that's the highest RSI reading we've seen since December of 2021. You're not even in the bullish control zone yet on the monthly, so that's just wild to think about. How this monthly, there's nothing really here. You've broken out already.
Yeah, I'm going to argue you're like here from the last cycle. So your RSI came down, hit the 50 level, and you're holding firm. You've actually done a very important RSI breakout where you dipped under the 50 and now you're turning back up. That's a monthly chart, and that should be a magnet up to the oversold. And we see it in amplified. That's even better. And then standard RSI, HSI did have a nominal test. Okay, but it's not going down. It's heading back up. Looks like for another signal, much like it did here, and then went up for a bigger test on the secondary move. The way to think about this really is that even if we're retesting that signal, you would still need 2 bearish months before you could even consider this turning around. So you've got lots of time. There's not much here that's suggesting any kind of a larger monthly halt to what has begun. And I would be looking inside of that, looking for stuff like that and then go, that and then go, and just keep stair stepping your way up. That's Bitcoin monthly.
Yeah, there's just positive momentum is at its highest level since December 2021. There's just things that are going on the oscillators on these significant time scales that haven't happened since we were in the 60s in price, and we're only at 36. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ethereum isn't further along, but I do get the sense though, and I've said this is Bitcoin show. There's monthly Ethereum.
Wow, dude, Ethereum. No positive momentum since March of 2022. And it looks like if you have good performance, any more performance this month, by this month or next month, you'll be seeing your first level of positive momentum in 20 months. Yeah, 20 months. Wow, that's crazy monthly.
Yeah.
Where the price is, no overhead resistance till like 2,700.
Yeah, and the 2485. It is it's the daily. It's daily, like the rest of them. It was a crab pattern at the low. I said crab pattern, not bat. Hold on. Oh, that's pretty interesting. There's shark right off the low, 2122. But where's my shark target? Sorry, my crab target. I don't know why. It's supposed to be a crab at 25, basically 2,500. Even the bat as high as 2,960, but we're stuck in the range. I'm not nearly as impressed with Ethereum as some of these others, and
yeah, I agree.
Bitcoin
it is definitely structurally, it's not as good. It's inferior.
Although the ETH, Grayscale Trust like Bitcoin had some big patterns. And I think you still go higher on looking at that. And here's the weekly on the ETH as a shark, where its target is 29. And that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's pretty that's an amazing structure. Just like GBTC's Gartley, you have the perfect shark on ETHE.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what the I don't know where to look for it. If there's like, what's the discount premium on Ethereum Grayscale? Because like GBTC is like it's been dwindling away. I mean, I think you saw like a 40% at the lows like last year, and it's all the way. It's like 10% or less now. Discount.
Yeah.
So like par is just a little bit higher. And today it's kind of interesting because Bitcoin spot's down almost 5% and GBTC is only down like 2%. So it's like that discount is shrinking even more if it all stays the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder what Ethereum's would be. Where do you find that? Ethereum discount premium. I'm just like looking it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how they don't. It's not like a 1-to-1 thing.
Yeah, not at all. Not on this one. I have no idea how they do this one. And now they're coming out with all the other ones, right? They've got like an XRP one. They've got a Litecoin one. They've got, I don't know if they have a Sol. I think they might have a Sol one too.
Coming, yeah. We're dropping. I think we're gonna get this 35 pretty quick. We might get there today. I mean, that's a bold call. But
I found it, I think.
Come back and retest.
Let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. So Ethereum E discount is 15% right now. But in July, it was at a 56% discount. So
wow.
From July to now, it's just getting just completely bought up and is reaching closer to par. So okay, but that's like Bitcoin too, though. Wow, what a chart here! I'll screenshot it and show you. Insane. Wow, impressive. All right, let's see. There you go, so you can see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
soon it won't be. Yeah, it'll be. I mean, you think if time goes by and this pace, it'll be going back to premium again. See if I can get the Bitcoin one too and send that to you. Yeah, I can get this one too.
That's a great shot.
Wow. It's not as much as I thought. It's still 13%. It was like literally 10%. I don't know if this is completely updated. November 14th. Yeah, it's 2 days ago. Wow. Okay, so on the 13th, okay, wow. So November 10th, GBTC was at a 10.3% discount. And now, as of today, it's already back to a 13.38% discount. So I'll show you. It's been fluctuating there. But yeah, since July, something's happened. Something's changed on Ethereum and Bitcoin. There you have it. Linked or whatever.
Yeah, here you go. Here's Bitcoin. It's a great chart.
Yeah, this is something to keep an eye on. I don't know if we'll get to par. Like, I don't know when it'll happen or if it'll happen anytime soon. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, I guess that they thought it would actually back then wouldn't be around, so people were dumping it. But goes to show you, yeah, I think that's as long as that continues to trend closer to par, better. And I would expect that even to be a signal. Like if you get within 1 or 2% and you're near the top, that's probably a signal that it's almost over. Like when we close that premium gap and Bitcoin's done its move and GBT does its move, then you're probably you've done the round trip and you're back there. Let me see here.
But it was at like 50% discount in January when Bitcoin was trading at like 15,500. 50% discount. That is so insane.
Yep. I'm breaking new lows right now. About to crack 36,000 here.
Yes, we are.
34,934 coming up in about 50 minutes or so.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
The time change got me.
Yeah.
And everything else is following too, except YFI. YFI is up 15% right now. Mother of God, man. That one was so insane. Like that one just just the weekly. I mean, the highest level seen since May of 2022. And what is it? In 8 days, up 124%. It got to 143% at the highest today. Just ridiculous. But again, it looked really good in the 6,000s. Like just days ago, it literally looked amazing. Like set up for if that's the type 2 return, catching some follow through, this is it then, because that's it's all about the weekly and how like significant and how long it took for this pattern to develop and how the resolution is just ungodly. I mean, you're working on the highest weekly candle close since May of 2022, which would be taking out the high from July 2022, and that's the top of the Gartley pattern. Incredible.
Yeah, there you go. It's like that right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Are we overbought? Yeah, we're way overbought at the moment, but
of course, even on the weekly, you're at like 81. That's the highest RSI reading of all time. Like even when it went to 95,000, it was never that high.
Wow.
At 95,000, it never even got overbought. It was just at like 67, 66. What?
Yeah, that's probably just a first thrust though. You know, I mean, that's that hitting that static resistance. I would expect it to come back. There's a here on the daily is a shark right now, and this is we're on a lot of these we're hitting patterns like this where it looks like it's going to go to the moon, but don't jump there just yet. I would expect today, tomorrow, start to come back, go to target one, and then go.
Like, so funny. Someone was like trashing me for like talking about when this thing was in the 6,000s, by the way, and how good it looked and set up for our prices. Like someone's trashing about like 18,000 seems like a good target, like making fun of that. Like how is that crazy? Like how is that even insane? I mean, that's like the next inflection point. I mean, I get the top of the harmonic, which is an aggressive profit taking level for a harmonic trade, but still, it's like you're talking 500 plus day large structures here. Like this is massive, the size of a galaxy, you know, or a solar system, whatever. Huge.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think this could eventually make it like to wait? Like, look at the overhead resistance, like 25K, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of people are looking at those static areas of, you know, again, people are thinking money's coming back into crypto, so these are going to be sympathy plays. Where are the obvious targets? There's, you know, your last pivot, it's like 26.
Yeah.
And then even if we're going to connect dots, look at W structures. Well, you have an initial low back in May 22, and then you spent 2 or 3 shots trying to crack it, but you didn't. And even something like this, I agree, you could trace it out like that, at where your X, A, B, C goes to a bat that is 24.
Dang. Way higher.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But pause right now. Let's you know, let this thing settle out. Yeah, even if it came back to target one, that'd be your best spot for a real launch. You know, again, it's you're already at the hop, 13,200. You're just chasing whatever's there, but one to get on. I mean, that's because you got patterns looking left, and this is the kind of bearish pattern that you do after a pause or a brief digestion phase. You want it to come back, and then you want it to fail. Because when you fail that on the second move, that's when you've busted the resistance, static or otherwise, and you can get the larger things to take shape. And you've got a number of those that are
you just
setting
think
up like that.
With an impulse like this, and you know, like you just think any pullback will certainly be a higher low than all those lows before it, which just represents accumulation. So I mean, just, you know, everything's shifted to the buyers. It's like you know, they're in control of this market now, you'd think, after this kind of move.
Yeah, and the money's back to play. I mean, there've been some moves already I've seen that are, you know, very manipulative. They run them for 2 days and then they slam them right back down. And I suspect they will just kind of rotate from crypto to crypto, kind of running these and dumping these on people. And that's where, again, lining up what you're looking for is important to be there when you hit it. There's H bar. And
yeah, like tell me what's different about that and YFI to a degree. I mean, besides like Gartley to Shark, I mean, they're so like it's
This
uncanny.
this is, you put that in the category of something that just hasn't moved yet. But look at the, we're printing all-time bat pattern. This is a lot like YFI where it was a couple months ago. We just haven't popped out of the zone where you get above XA level at 9. That should set it off to a target 1. So not all the crypto have acted the same way.
But it looks like just something like at this point where you could say owning H bar, like it would be a time to own H bar. Like there are times to own and times not to own, and certainly a time to own like an asset would be after how like a year large harmonic completed with a type 2 return, right? Those highs are just, I mean, just accumulation confirmed too. There was like kind of divergence on the second low, and now you're like flirting with this level back from 2020, this resistance. So this is like, yeah, you just own this and give it like what, a couple months, a few months, because you think the resolution would have happened by then.
Yeah, or even the whole year. I mean, just be conservative.
Sure.
That you go to target, if all of these patterns, the objective is to go to target 1. Okay, well, it's a 4x off the current level. That's not a crazy thought, and it's a hell of a run for even holding it for a year or 15 months. But you have to do some things to really bust it. This is like Phantom. It had a big pattern here on the daily. Come on back, couple patterns. Yeah, and then it decided to go left for a while, and then finally bust the move just 3-4 weeks ago. All right, you did that sideways move, but you got to be positioning in there. Even Phantom's only a type 1 move, 38.20. So I like a lot of these. I mean,
Looks good.
yeah, but we are hitting target 1s, big target 1s on these larger patterns that if we pull back, I'm not going to be surprised here to see a pullback. And
Yeah, for sure. Like FIL and Matic, they're up like 50+% off like the reasonable entry areas of the type 2 on the daily. I mean, like my Matic trade setup, like hit the first target, like take profit like a few days ago, and it spent some time like up thrusting through it. But now it's like with Bitcoin pulling back and it's back below that take profit 1 level. So it's like, what do you think? What people are going to take profits at profit taking levels? So yes, price could go down here, of course. So I just don't,
there's
it's
target
just
1. There's a dot. There's a dot. I try to so I don't get subjective or complacent. I'm just saying, are we at a structural level? Do you have confirmation? All right. Pretty much any kind of 1 bar violation, if you wanted to stay in it, would be the key that you come back and either wait for some kind of daily oversold trigger in the retracement to get you again, or another pattern to develop. Depends on the situation. But think of that as like your first thrust reaction move. And now when we come back for a retest, however we do these, and then we go, it's again trying to, what we're trying to do really is we're trying to get the market to give us a W formation so that when we get into that CD leg and it blasts off into next year, okay, that it just keeps going. I'll look at all of this as like, first look at the 886, and then if it's really strong, 1618, and just look within those 2 limits. But even if we just get an 886 move up there, you're looking at a double. You're looking at, and from the low, you're looking 3 or 4x. And if the cycle is going to go crazy, then you project out a 1618. It's the same thing we did with Bitcoin and the rest of them. It's just that these T coins, you want to see, you're looking for multiples off the low. You're looking for 5 or 10x. I mean, in this kind of a move, and especially with what's to come next year. But don't think we're in moon phase yet. I mean, we're not. I would want to see a W formation take shape. You could even go further back and say, all right, when at least now, after the big move, and then there's a B point, a larger WC, you could get to something like that, just going from a W to the W and using the W formation as an approximation for what's possible up here. The one that I come back to is this Telor. That was, I mean, it did a 10x. It was insane. Where'd it go? Hold on. No. Oh, there you go. So this Telor was 10 a year ago, and here we are again, able to. Can you do this? So when you go to your favorite crypto, can you trace out a W formation? And if you can, where's the 886, the relative 886? And just looking at that, it probably could even be neater on that than where we're at, like a little bit lower. Yeah, it's
Session lows on Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, nice. Come on in. Let it drop. Let it drop.
During that channel bottom.
Let's see.
Testing our luck, man. These 4-hour channels,
There we
they
go.
don't stay like this forever, man. But
this is
yeah,
good.
look at this.
Yeah, we're coming back to the Gartley. I mean, no doubt. We'll come back down to this Gartley, 4-hour Gartley.
Jeez,
nice. Yeah, we just
what a
dropped
route,
about
man. $2,150 in a day, and then yesterday it was up 2,000. Like what a, like how do you even, if you're like, I don't know, if you had not been in this from like a way earlier stage, how do you even? Are you just looking at this every day? And it's like, wow. I mean, what kind of swings on such a large asset like this? Wow.
Well, that's coordinated. I mean, no doubt. But when we're running patterns, don't be surprised, especially if it's a T1 and it's a big pattern and it's just T1 here, and you go to target 2, but you can't continue through, then you know it's a reaction. That's what when I started today, that's what I was saying. I think we get there now. I think by tonight or even by this afternoon, you drop
By
another,
the end of the stream.
you drop another 800 and you retest this Gartley, and then we'll look right in there. So again, it's happening as we've been talking about that, but that's this crazy crypto cycle and the kind of swings inside of what seemingly is a moonshot. It's not a moonshot. It's aggressive reaction reversal dynamics just going to repeat over and over again. So Bitcoin's not ready yet. I would say back under 35 for now.
Yeah, too many people leverage and funding rates get all screwed up, and so exchanges got to wash them out, make their money, and then reset it. I mean, that's these moves are doing that. I think the funding rate at the top yesterday was just absurd. So now the over leveraged traders are getting liquidated. They were liquidated on the way up and the way down a couple times at this point.
Yeah, I bet you AVAX is down. Yeah, AVAX
everything
is
just about
21 now already. Yeah, I mean, look, that's short-lived. We're gonna have to come back down, just like it did last week, or the beginning, or last weekend. Big move, and then you did get another one. We'll get another one probably back in here. Are we close to being oversold in the 4-hour? No, we're not even close to being oversold. So that's got some work to do. I would think that's, for now, you're probably done, at least for these last few days.
still above the bearish control zone though on the 4-hour at least. But yeah, I mean, you think it would get oversold again? Yeah, you maybe make a slightly lower low, violate the demand line, maybe take out the low from 2 days ago, right? And you get the type 2, you probably liquidate people, you probably trigger stop losses, liquidity grabs, right, for the next markup.
Yeah, these guys, these crypto brokerages are sitting there with big sums of cash moving the stuff. So and
Yeah,
and
looking at
it
the
is
L2.
crypto. You know, the people are
Yeah,
doing it. They're
unregulated.
leveraged. Yeah, and they know where the orders are.
Yeah, they're
So
trading against their own clients for sure.
yeah,
Of course, it's been proven. They do it over and over and over. Every single exchange does that. So, but there's no rule. There's no law like stopping them doing it. So they'll just keep doing it.
yeah. Well, but it leads to set up for more opportunity. That's it. It's
For sure.
and you want that. So, be aware of that.
Yeah, man. Like on something like Matic, I posted to you like the trade setup posted. It was October 6th, right, where you had everything out of your textbook. I mean, it was glorious, and so the entry was the best way, most optimum way to strategize an entry stop loss was there, and it was like, okay, well, first target was just hit, so if people are gonna take profits, it's gonna pull back, 382, 50%, 618 even. I don't even care. It could go to 786886, but that just means that like opportunity, like to re-enter or to add to a position on these altcoins. Because right? I mean, that's because like the harmonic is kind of with the type 2 with the divergence is ushered in pretty much the whole reversal. And normally what you see after harmonics complete this large and stuff is new higher lows start really getting put in, accumulation starts becoming really, really evident, and again, you're just buying opportunities.
Yep. Yeah. No, it just sets up for the next snapback reversal run. Here we go. I mean, you're almost there. You are. Get on back here. Oh, it's the 4 hour.
Which one?
I'm popping up Bitcoin here, looking for. There it is. Yeah, it's just taking a while to generate. But yeah, this hard down, come on down, and I think we could even go lower than XA, sets up for a big snap move back to target 2. And that's it. I mean, this would be good for anybody that's doing leverage with Bitcoin is, okay, if you're looking for your next long, it's under 34,983, and your target and only target is back at 36,811. I'll follow up with my crew next week and see how that shapes up over the weekend. But within the craziness of what's happening, we have to really define the levels clearly. I mean, it's easy to say, all right, that's going to be a type 2, and then we're going to go straight to 50,000 from there. But that's not how it works. It's let's just target the retest. Here you come, lows for the session, almost under 35.7.
Jeez, $2,130.
Spring back. Let's look 5 minute. Yeah, it's dropping hard. There's 5 minute. So remember, 35K or 34.9 is really where this should go. So you're still looking for 800-900 lower on this move. Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, just like the last couple of days, especially that bounce from after the first drop was, that was the first really seriously heated this thing. Yeah, there you go. Last week was big down, like big shakeout down, and then big snapback again, and you're doing it again. You're there. You're doing it again, where you're just they're throwing it away. Let's let it get to some levels and wait for that snapback move. Down. I think it's down there, and you're still in the uptrend. Doesn't change.
Yeah, still in a long-term uptrend, but understand like a major reversal or major Fibonacci. I don't even major, minor, just from your swing low to high, September 11th to the high. I mean, again, 382 to 618 is just not. It's not weird. I mean, Bitcoin could go down between 33,000 and even 30,000, and it would be common if you're talking about Fibonacci retraces. So yeah, this is like a straight up bamboozle candle by the looks of it. like yesterday's candle that 18-month highs on the close. You for the second time tested 38K or almost tested it and didn't, right? I mean, literally 37,987 at the high, and then on the 9th it was 37,999. So on the Coinbase, certainly you have not seen 38K once, but confirmed right around it atop.
Man, worse.
So yeah,
Let me see that. There's Coinbase. Yep.
was the day right now.
Just shy. Yeah, here we go. 34,934. That's where this drop will take you minimum. And are we gonna get? Yeah, so now you're making progress on that hourly of getting your oversold on RSI amplified a little deeper than the last time, but still early here. That's still early. I structurally, this is a good one. And it's dropping hard now.
Yeah, it's just right at the demand line, right at it here. Look at this. Send it to you. Yeah, it's just like sitting there now. No bids though. No bids.
There you go.
22.
Yeah, there it is.
58.
That was the chart Mitch posted earlier, and now we're there.
We made it. We've done it.
Yeah.
I don't know though if the level will be like eventually these 4-hour channels they break, man, one way or another, up or down. So the fact that it like how long it's been respected after yesterday, I mean the bottom and the top again. I mean it's almost like you've confirmed the top at around 38K. So I can't like really. If it does hold, oh my god, that's insane. Like if it keeps holding, but eventually these always break. Just IMO. Wow.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this thing to get there. We'll probably get there in like, let's see here, 5 more minutes. Let's let this happen. 34,934. That's where you get your T2. So this is now a nothing. This will happen. There you go. Even better on the hourly chart. But yeah, this is it's a great one for where you were, what, 12 hours ago, 18 hours ago. It looked like you were ready to go even higher, but no, it stalled out, couldn't get above pattern high. And yeah, the reversal, the type 2 retest still has to happen. And with any structure, any pattern, you want to see the 1-2. I'd rather have a T2 here, and you'd have the ability to do something larger, because then you confirm it. But slam it down hard by all means, bring it, and then go back. And that's probably what you're leading to at the moment.
Yeah, no one's buying right now. That could have been, I mean, like legit. You could be looking at a confirmation high on the 8-hour, 12-hour. It's like an atom, one eve and atom double top situation where you eved first on the rounded action, and we're Ving right now on the double top. So, and again, like who cares? Like the only people that are worried are the ones that like bought up here. Like they're like, hey, I'm entering the crypto market when Bitcoin's at 36 plus K, and then a month ago it was at 27.2 or whatever in the 26s. So, yep, again, 382 in the 30s, the low 30s, 33 to 30K for moderate Fibonacci retrace. Moderate.
Yeah. That's a good one though.
But yeah, I mean, again, like let's say the harmonic type 2 fails, those are your targets for like a more significant retrace.
Yeah, you don't have confirmation just yet. It's you're getting into that point where, let me bring this up. Yeah, I mean, we need to come down a bit here on HSI. That's a 4-hour amplified starting to hit now. So that really means, not only 34.9, maybe low 34s to do a fuller retest. That has to sync up. And you go back where you were just 5 days ago. It's not just nothing. So
yeah, this is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's Wall Street right now. I guess selling. I mean, who else would it be? They're just
Yeah,
dumping
that's
it. How's the S&P doing? You know,
S&P's hanging in there. Today,
of course,
last
just sitting
couple of
there.
weeks, just you know, it's I mean, we're back at major levels, but it's holding up there for today at least. But I'm certainly watching the next couple of days. What this we're at some back up here at some major patterns. I wouldn't. Some of them are type twos, bearish. That we literally checked back 2 days ago. We still need one more. If today's a bearish day and tomorrow's a bearish day, then we'd get our first dot. And this is why I'm looking at 4,500 right now. What happens up here? If you cannot continue, then you're going to get a pullback. You're not going to have follow through. And this is, I think tomorrow's close is remarkably important to see. Is this just a big impulsive move
Short squeeze.
from 4,100 to 4,500, and then we come back down again?
Look at the
Um,
gaps, man. It's insane.
yeah, 1 and 2 and 3, at least 3 to fill. So
Yeah.
we'd be a lot higher if this was a massive move like a 1995 breakout move, and then you keep on, you just bypass it all. We'd be up at 46 or 47. You got to remember, this year is already, I mean, it's a massive year to date so far. So you're not that far off the all-time high. So they'll book, no matter what happens, you'll still book solid double-digit returns for the year. Nasdaq more impressive. I'm interested in the follow through. I want to see how we finish the year, go into January against all of these levels, because it is these are big levels. It is the type 2 retest for a bearish situation. It's definitely strong. 40, generally 4,400 was a big number, and you gapped on through. So you have to just give it probably 2 or 3 more days.
If
And
it was gonna, you'd think like if it was gonna, really like go higher, don't you think like you go back to December 2022 and March of 2023 and see like that higher low local double bottom, like some confirmation that, because what we do, like the most recent discernible event on the SPY is like your lowest low of the correction. Don't you think a pullback would occur? We would check back maybe 420, 426, like to back test that level, reconfirm its validity, fill some gaps, back test the 200-day moving average, and then put in the first higher low after that correction, right? I think that's like would be reasonable.
yeah, there's SPY. And it's kind of like it was a year ago, where you were trying to break out of this downtrend, and you did like a first thrust type of move, but then you come back, retest the back end of that, and then go. That would have to be your best situation. That would be the strongest situation for the whole thing, if it's going to do that, if it's going to hang up there and then push into all-time new highs from here, or do we get a bigger pullback, like another down and then go? That's what remains to be seen. I'm closely watching up here. I think Nvidia coming up next week is going to be a good sign of things to come, if that's going to do the big bust out move. Or is Nvidia stuck? I mean, is this just banging against the resistance at 500? I mean, we do have pattern support 410. Okay, because what really Nvidia should do from here is just blow on through and do something where it goes into the next phase and you don't look back. If the market's strong, those earnings are going to be blowout. If not, and you roll back over, well, you got to look at this this situation. It looked to me, it looks strong because the only confirmation is we have bullish confirmation on Nvidia. You are at the all-time, this 1618 perfectly, and it did a little micro 236 pullback. I mean, that's a good sign of the 236 with bullish confirmation. If this is strong,
Go crazy.
you have to go crazy now.
That weekly.
Yeah, you have to go to like 560 on the earnings, and I think that's possible on a positive report, and then that would lead the market like the rest of them have been leading the market. That's the dynamic you want to look for here right
I wonder
now.
what the implied volatility is on it this time on Nvidia. Oh my, what? No way. It's 50? The implied volatility on Nvidia is 50? How's that even? I thought it was, wow, I'm just looking it up. If it's saying that, oh, here we go. It looks like an IV of around 11%. So for earnings. So that means like it's implied that there will be an 11% swing on Nvidia at all-time highs, leading into earnings one way or another. That is just insane, man. It is the one now, man. Nvidia is the king. I don't know. Microsoft, though, if you don't know, they like came out like this past week. They've come out with like this new innovative AI chip that will it will literally compete against Nvidia. So
Yeah.
that's a huge in Microsoft's chart, like hitting all-time highs, maybe because of that, or if people knew. I mean, you're getting into processors. Wow.
Yeah, it's. I'm trying to stick to the patterns and what we have here, which is just a reaction. We have some resistance, but it looks like it's trying to blow through and violate it. Now, again, watching this in the next week or 2 weeks, we're hitting some overbought. So really interesting spot. I have to watch Nvidia on Tuesday. That is it. Everything else, I would say, we're probably we've reached a limit for now. Another bearish shark 375 on Microsoft. This should be about it. So let's see. We'll come back next week. I'm going to wrap it up here, my man. But
Yeah.
definitely let's keep an eye on next few days. And for my peeps, I'll be back on Tuesday, and I think by Tuesday we'll have a clear with that Nvidia announcement, and let's check what these crypto pullbacks do. I think they're opportunities still. Just wait for them. Get ready. Let's hope we get a nice pullback that sets up for a December, January run. I think that's definitely plan on that.
Yep. Look for the common retraces from your major daily swing lows to the highs that these altcoins have achieved, and you look for the 382s to 618s. Those are the best levels Fibonacci wise to like layer back in, or to like if you were already in, you could like your dollar cost averaging because the trend's reversing off these harmonics completing and stuff like that. So and then you'd be looking for hidden bullish divergence on these pivots at these Fibonacci nodes. There are ways to strategize higher low, pivots with an edge to add to your position. So decent market conditions now, though, for the altcoins after this big run, this big initial run. It's just, you are at a point where, okay, time for traders to take some profit, and it could take a minute. So
we just get down to 35 too.
Yeah, bounce to 35.8. Yeah, dude, these swings are nuts, man. I mean, these are like, it just shows like the lack of, I don't know, does it mean like there's just a lack of supply up at these levels? Because, we were in the summertime, we were getting a couple $100 swings a day, like just about. It was that bad. And now it's like, it took 24 hours for a move on Bitcoin for 6 months is now like happening every 60 minutes on Bitcoin. What does that represent?
I think that's a new cycle. I mean, that's just the character of what's going on internally. I mean, that's
It's just supply on the books, though, right? I mean, there's just not like that. Wouldn't you think that would represent like there was just so much Bitcoin, and there was just, I don't know, something about the order book is what it would incline me to believe is going on. There's just a lack of supply and liquidity above 31K. So you're right, there's just like the spread would be wider, right? And therefore there'd be like, okay, well, there's only a certain amount of supply at 36K and 35.6, you know, so big swings. I'm not sure. I'm just like seeing like what you would, so you just think it's the cycle?
Yeah,
Think of the psychology.
I think you have an accumulation cycle that started. So on any given day, you're going to have more buyers coming in over the week than sellers. Now you're going to have people that are going to take profits and trade it. But I just think that when they do come in to buy it, they're buying it harder and harder every time that you get those snapbacks. It's not immune to the natural harmonic moves, no matter what. Just it's human nature. But when you do get those kind of sharp moves and then sharp retest moves, and they hold, especially when they hold, that's that shows you that no matter what, even in that volatility, the buyers are firm and they keep coming in the spots where they need to have the continuation build. So it's we've talked about this for a couple months that yeah, the story changed. It changed in September, and now you're kind of in that next level where I always said above 32,000 does start the acceleration phase, and here's what you're seeing here is we're still in acceleration phase. It's still going to be crazy, but you're going to get this stuff. It almost seems like a dream. Like, wow, how is this going to come all the way back? It's been running so hard. It's not going to come all the way back. Yeah, it will come back. It'll give you the perfect opportunities. I think the patterns will get even more accurate. You'll get sharper reversals. You'll get less dicking around at the levels you need to. And then when you do put in the type 1 or you confirm the type 2, and they go, it's almost like an automatic kind of switch. Come down, hit it, and once you register it and go, you go hard, because once the buyer flow resumes, people pile in on it, and that's what we're seeing. I think with Bitcoin, you saw it with GBTC. Maybe that'll spread to Ethereum and some others, but we will continue to do this. It'll seem crazy, but I think it's kind of normal accelerated behavior. So,
Okay.
all right, my man.
Well,
Well, I got
we
to get
did see the
running.
bounce. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and good talk as always. You know, it's always I think we always have a good flow when we team up. So yeah, man, just hit me up next time, and I've got like a workout session again with this PT. This is my first time doing a back to back. Like you did one yesterday, doing it again today. So I'm not excited at all, but
Yeah, I'm doing
yeah,
the same.
man.
I'm actually starting to press some weight, get the shoulder better. So keep it
Good
up.
stuff,
Don't
man.
stop. Keep yourself healthy.
Eat some
And
protein, man. Smith and Walensky soon.
yeah, we will.
That's
I'm
the
trying
goal.
to get myself better so we can go out and get some quality steak. So we will do that. My brother's coming into town. Maybe in a couple weeks we could do that. So I'll
Yeah,
hit you
man.
up.
Let me know. Let me know.
Reconnect. Awesome.
Yeah, just text me.
Will do, man. You have a great one, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. God
Thanks.
bless.
You
Later.
too. All right, thanks everybody. Nice long session, mega stream. We almost got a mega dump stream, but you guys know the deal. Listen, everybody, let's give away one more gold membership. Someone type GOLD for those that hung in. We'll give you a gold membership. And everyone else, get the Black Friday deal there at harmonictrader.com. This is it, 30% off now. Get all of this. If you want the Thinkorswim platform, contact me. I'm going to update the coupon code. Sean Smith, you win, my man. Contact Miss Stephanie when on the Discord, and she'll set you up with the gold membership. Be back on Tuesday. Let's see where we're at by then. Okay, no worries. Settle in. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Tuesday, 12 noon. Thanks, everybody. As always, go get 'em. See you next time.